sugarcane farm, so when we talk about sweeteners and different options for sugars, and Dr. Jane as well, we've been very much bred into that way of thinking. So it's not like we're born on a mission somewhere with all singing and dancing and greenies and hippies and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter what phase you're at, there's always room to change. So born into that, very active, played lots of sport, quite good at school up until early high school, and then really lost the plot. Didn't really have an outcome or a focus where I wanted life to go. But I knew I liked sport, so I went and did human movement after high school, but I knew I didn't want to study anymore after school, so I actually went to the army to start with. Did 12 months in the army, loved that. Got awards for the most outstanding soldier and best at physical training, and I really thought that was my calling, to pursue that. But then something happened. I was lifeguarding, I was playing soccer at a high level, and I just ran myself into the ground. And burning the candle at both ends, my mum used to say. And so as a result of that, something that we all carry quite commonly is meningococcal meningitis. We all carry it in our nose and throat. And when our immune system gets very depleted, it moves into our spinal fluid. And so that's what I had. And so I woke up one morning, excruciating pain, headaches, literally rolling on the ground, pulling my hair out. It was that bad. By the end of that day, Mum had called the hospital. We had been pumped with all the drugs we had in the house, because that was our way of thinking back then. And rushed to the hospital. On the way there, I go to sit into the car and I bang my head against the car door, because you can't then get, the bacteria, once it gets into the spinal fluid, it stiffens everything. So anyway, that week, I think 2 or 3 people died in hospital of the same condition. So I was really fortunate to survive that. And then I was in hospital for a week, flat on my back. As a result of that, I had a sore back. So I thought, well, sore back, go and see a chiropractor. So I went to the chiropractor and walked into an office, not unlike this one. You know, lots of people, nanas high-fiving each other, little kids getting adjusted. I was like, my thought of chiropractic was headache, neck pain, back pain. And so, very much opened my eyes, and I was really inspired for the first time in my life. I knew what I was here to do. So I started speaking to the chiropractor, and he took me under his wing, started working with him. Moved to Melbourne, studied chiropractic. Didn't spend a lot of time there, simply because it was very medically indoctrinated, the course. It was still about headaches and neck pain and back pain. And we'll get into that, how that came to be later into that a bit. I just basically started hanging out with all the top chiropractors, health professionals in the world, okay, whether they were here or overseas, and just spent pretty much 10 years understanding what makes people well. And it really became so apparent early on that what we put in our mouth hugely, hugely dictates the quality of life we have. Now we have a look at cultures that are consistently living over 100, and we look at what they eat, and then we look at what the Western culture eats. Then you have a look at what, if those people are consistently living 100, if they happen to migrate into the countries where they're having the Western diet, they die of the same things. They die early. And so it really became a passion to study food, to understand what makes people well, what boosts our immune system, so that you just don't have to live in fear of heart disease and cancer and diabetes and all these things. And so I started teaching it at our healthcare classes, at our workshops, but it often left people more confused than anything. Because it was this, you can't have this, and you can't have this, and you can't have this. When people were left going, what do we eat? And that was very much how I felt when I first started this way of eating. So I started doing these food days where people could actually touch the food, taste it, make it, understand, well, why do we choose that milk instead of that milk?